slack off on that a little bit, but he sees the talent and he goes for it. There's something that's still irking me a little bit with DeAndre Baker. I'm not really going to get into it a lot with that, but I will say that multiple people have told me that he is in the doghouse. And it was over a situation that happened weeks ago with the whole Juan Thornhill thing. I think it's wrong. But I'm not a coach. I'm not there, so I can't, it's not like my word's going to make any difference, but I hope and pray that he gets out of this and he's able to contribute, because he's a better player than a guy that should be sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. He's a lot better player than that.
Well,
so it just is.
What would you say, and how I say this, what would you say so far about what comes to situation? What do you think about Josh Jackson? I think that's his name.
Yeah.
I can see, actually, sorry. He's going to be great. But for Rashad Fenton, due to his injury, what did you hear today? Because I was kind of confused because he had a great hit, but then they say he's getting an MRI on his knee.
Yeah.
But then he tweeted something saying he seemed to be fine. So do you think, is he okay, or what's the issue?
I haven't had a chance to call. I did get a text saying that at that point he had some swelling, but there was no definitive answer on if there was anything major.
It's nothing like an ACL, if we were to guess.
At this point, no.
Okay.
That obviously can change sometimes with, when swelling's there, sometimes they can't see everything.
You can't see, yeah.
Yeah, but at this point it seems to be okay. And that's what we're hoping for, but we'll just have to, wait and see. For those of you that don't know, I have a contact with the medical side of that part of the team as well. So I'm able to get some information from that. And I do get some here and there, but usually about every game if somebody gets injured. But right now it seems like he's okay. That's really about all I got. But we'll just have to go from there and see.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of times they can't see anything. I know when I shattered my ribs a couple years ago, they thought I broke two, and I ended up breaking all of them, and they were splintered, and one of them was sticking in my lung, and they had no clue that it was. For 8 weeks, they had no clue that it was in there. So it just kind of happens that way. But we'll just have to find out. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, man.
I did notice today. Did you notice? And I was going to ask you if you noticed this. Did you notice that Mahomes, same offensive line, same strong offensive line, really no difference in the way they played from last week, other than the play calls. Mahomes was running a little bit more for.
Yeah. There were a couple times that he could have belled a little bit earlier, would have benefited him, but I think he's trying to learn a healthy balance. But I think he ran at the right times, I feel like, for the most part.
He did. I think part of that, too, is the fact that, some of the calls were a little iffy and wasn't exactly what he was looking for. And when he sees things on the field and he wants to make those changes, it really depends on what he feels like he's allowed to do at that moment and who's making those calls. And he allows him to do, make judgment calls on the field a lot, freely, actually.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be a topic of discussion for a while. But, and I'm sure this is, if someone's listening, my cousin, this might end up on another show nationally soon. But I saw a lot of positives, man. I mean, Willie Gay.
100%, man. I'm telling you right now, the pickups by Veach on defense alone showed me he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And maybe we were all a little critical at first, but I still think that was warranted to an extent because of what we saw in the past. Yeah. And he knows what he's doing. That's the important thing, because having these guys, bro, the way they played today, pickups were wonderful.
Everybody
Just
was
seeing
there.
how Ward was able to get his Ward got his interception. Chris Jones had 3.5 sacks. Wharton was in there. Jaron Reed was doing his thing. Frank Clark was coming off the edge like a crazy man. I mean, it was wonderful to see if we're just being honest.
Yeah.
The way we've seen them play, dude, that defense is top 5. I really do. If they can keep this for the rest of the year, they can be a top 5 defense the way they've been playing.
Oh, without
But most importantly, they need them to step up when it comes to playoffs. When it comes to the offense, though, bro, I like McCall Hardman, man, but he seems to drop a pass and he gets into it. I don't know what they're going to do from that standpoint, man, but he's kind of been struggling, and I hope he can figure it out, or they can figure it out with him, because he's a good player, but it seems like he just seems to be dropping these easy passes, or he thinks a little too much, I feel like.
I think sometimes he reacts. He a lot of times he'll run before he has the ball in his hands, or he's turning, to run before he has the ball in his hands. And, that's another thing that's a split decision situation. You have to make sure that, the ball's secure before you take off. And that's, a hairline situation or a hairline thought. When you do it, when you're making that decision, it's like, it's an instantaneous decision that you have to make. And your first thing is to secure the ball. Second thing is to move, but that's a split. I'm talking about a split second decision. And sometimes it happens with veterans. It happens with rookies. It happens with everybody that, there's a lot of times guys will take off running before they have the ball in their hand. And it's just, it's kind
and
of part of
Kelsey's done, every player's done. I'm just hoping they can figure it out, because I'm interception by Mahomes. I mean, it went off of Kelsey's arm, was like one of his muscles, and then the guy caught it, and it was like, oh man.
Yeah.
But I think with time it's going to work out for them. I really hope it does, and I think they will be able to figure it out because of the way they've been playing.
Oh, I agree. I mean, they're just, this team is so resilient and so talented. I mean, I even put it out on Twitter today on our page. Snead has got one of the highest IQs for a second-year player.
Oh, he's a steal. He's a steal from the draft that no one was ever thinking about.
Yeah.
He was going like a crazy man.
Yeah. He's absolutely amazing. I mean, just the raw, pure, intelligent talent that he has and the athleticism that he has is amazing.
Yeah, he's on a whole nother level. That's really the crazy part.
Plays like a seasoned vet.
Knows what he's doing. Yeah, I think I have a feeling our defense is going to be good for years to come. I really do.
Oh yeah. They're those guys are the future. I mean,
easily.
You got so many future players on this team, defensively and offensively, but Veach made the last couple of years, he's done a great job with the draft. And when you look at Snead and you look at, our entire offensive line for the most part, with the exception of the two ends, but and then look at some of the guys that he pulled in from last. I mean, look at Willie Gay. I mean, Willie Gay is a second round pick, phenomenal player. There's just so many guys that he's brought in that everybody's wanted to complain about. And it was funny because our writer, he sent us something on our page today about what did he say? It was about one of those guys.
He was saying, I forgot what he was saying too, but basically the equipment which you put back is there. No, I forgot. I think it may have been about Veach, and he was saying there's like someone said something to the extent, there's gonna be a lot of people deleting tweets now.
I said that, yeah. I said all those tweets are deleted because they were saying that how Veach didn't know how to draft or something. I can't remember, but I said all those tweets got deleted.
Yeah.
Because those are the same guys that sit there and complain and then delete the tweets after the fact. But it's funny how that works out. It's almost comical to a degree because you just never know when somebody's going to say something that you just. And I get it. There's a lot of times just out of frustration, but you got to give time. You got to give people time. I mean, it just kind of is.
That's fair.
That's
fair. Yeah. And I think kind of what it comes down to is that they figured out, they know what they're doing. I'm not really worried. I think this team has turned around at the right time. Needed because we've seen a lot of teams start off really, really good and then they drop off. Nick Bolton is another guy in there. I really think for the future with this defense, it's going to kick some butt. I think, but looking forward to, I think, the time for the offense to like get in gear more, figure it out. So whenever they're going to be going to the playoffs, they are ready to go. Because I really think they can do it. So
yeah.
But you ready for these questions from the fans?
Oh no, this is what he put. Chris Jones is the overpaid problem. Everyone about 5 weeks ago. Put that in quotes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Chris Jones is not the overpaid problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, you know how it is, man. People just like to talk.
It works out, bro. Yeah, but you ready for these questions?
Yeah, man, let's go.
All right. First one's from Joe, long-time listener, back in the day with JP when he first started. So thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. Your question is, why is Andy so against the run with a lead, especially against a very good aggressive front seven tonight? CH almost averaged 7 yards a carry with 4 dots at the end. Well, Joe, I agree with you. When I was watching the game, my parents were getting irritated because I kept saying they need to run the ball. Look, this offensive line is built to bully people, and they have done that. I understand they want to throw the ball a couple times, but they could just clobbering it down the throats. And the Cowboys weren't going to be able to do nothing to stop them. They would not have been able to do anything. So I think Andy and them should run the ball. And I think he kind of realized that. But from what my standpoint is like, look, what if Mahomes has an off day? They got to rely on that run game too. So there's many different factors that go into it. But I think they need to start running the ball a little bit more because we have the offensive line to do that. We have the ability to slow the game down and take large portions of the clock away like we've seen today.
Yeah, Joe, it's crazy because Andy's always been about, I think it's about 70% of his game plan has always been pass. Not just with us, but it was that way with Philadelphia as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always stuck to that. It's just something he loves. He loves the passing game. Again, I think sometimes he worries because he's had situations in the past where, a fumble can cause a lot of problems. And when you have a quarterback, normally, let me put this in a different perspective. Normally, when you have a quarterback like Mahomes, it doesn't throw very many interceptions. You have a lot less risk of an interception or a ball being turned over compared to a run when a ball can be fumbled. So with those two factors, I think that's part of the reason why he's not so much against it, but he'd rather pass than run. Although he did run a lot more in this game than I actually expected. And weirdly enough, there was a lot of ploy stuff going on with James Palmer and everybody else with CEH returning this week because we assumed that, he was going to be active. But in fact, Caleb and I knew he was going to be active earlier in the week, but it was more of he's going to be active, but how much is he going to play? Is he going to play? Mm. And word we got was it was going to be very limited if he was going to play at all. He had a great practice week. He looked like he was raring to go, and he wanted to have a statement game, and he had it. Mm-hmm. So Andy's starting to break, I guess, his own rule, as far as his own mold, and getting more into the running game now that he's got a really solid offense. We got a top 3, top 5 offensive line. So, he's going to run the ball more. And I think, as they gel a little bit more, you're going to see it a lot more. Mm-hmm. It's just part of just Andy's philosophy and the way he's always, he's done very well with it. He's the second best coach in the NFL history. So, that's just, it is what it is. But that's just Andy.
I agree. I think when we kind of look in the future, I would not be surprised if they run more. But I've noticed that when they run the ball a lot, they've been pretty effective this season. So
got to have a balance, especially when you got a dynamic quarterback like Mahomes. Mm-hmm. When you run the ball, you open up passing lanes because if you don't run the ball, they're always going to expect to pass. If you don't pass the ball, they're always going to expect to run.
Running the ball helps opens up the offense, and that's one thing we need.
And that's something that we always seen back in the day. And JJ, even I think even when he was on the show, we had talked about this prior, and even when he was on the show, we talked about this back in the 90s.